What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Draw and Scoop Gaming. Today I'm bringing you my Ogdoatic deck profile. This is something I've kind of fallen in love with since they came out. I wish they were better. I remember when this deck was released, there was a lot of hype around it and people thought it was going to be the next great engine, including myself. I remember some pros messing around with this in a Chaos version. There was some success, but it never really went anywhere. This is my best attempt at trying to fix that, and I've had a lot of success with this. It's really fun to play. You're milling a ton of cards. I'll show you that combo at the end of the video, but yeah, I really enjoy it, so let's get into it. First off, play one of the big guy. You only want to play one. This is not part of the combo. Typically, you're not ending on this. This sends all monsters on the field that weren't special summoned from the graveyard as a quick effect. And so a lot of times you don't want it on the field because you're blowing up your own board if you're actually using it. The cool thing is it's a 3100 beat stick that can special summon from the grave. And it's an alternative win con because if you're locked out of your extra deck or for some reason your combo gets interrupted, a lot of times you can still get this on the field. And even if this is the only thing on the field, that effect to quick effect send is really powerful. So things like Dragoon that can't be targeted or destroyed, this still outs them. But again, one is all you need. For the other big ones, I play the Queen. We don't play the King. It just doesn't really have a relevant effect. This one you do end with a lot of times. If a monster is sent from your opponent's hand or deck to the graveyard, you can special summon a light or dark reptile monster from your graveyard. That doesn't really come up. The part that does is if a card, if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's graveyard, except during the damage step, you can send one card they control to the graveyard. And so there's a lot of decks that are graveyard reliant, a lot of decks right now where the combo kind of goes through the graveyard and at some point they're special summoning from the graveyard. So if you have this on board, you can just pop something the second they do that, and it's a really powerful interruption. For the other big ones, you play one Curse and one Alert. I guess that's how you say its name. I don't know. Ogdoatic is already hard enough, so they could have at least made the other names easier, but guess not. So Curse is part of the combo. It's really important. You contribute a monster, special summon itself. Your opponent special summons a monster from their grave. If you're going first, that obviously doesn't really matter. But when it's special summoned, you can special summon another level 4 or lower Ogdoatic monster from your graveyard. So again, I'll show you the combo where that matters, but all you need is one. Alert comes up. It's another rank 8 or level 8 extender, essentially. Same thing, it contributes to special summon itself. If you do that, your opponent can add a card from their graveyard to your hand. Again, if you're going first, it doesn't really come up unless I guess they Valor you, in which case definitely don't do this. But like I said, it's a level 8 extender, and when it's summoned, you can shuffle back 2 monsters, including a reptile that are banished, or I said shuffle back, I meant put back in your graveyard. But sometimes that does come up because you want to fill your grave with reptile monsters so that your trap card, your spell card that we get to is live. So for the little snakes, we play 3 Nunu. Nunu, when it's in the grave, you can special summon it if you control no monsters or an Ogdoatic monster. And then you can send this from your hand to the grave to send a dark reptile monster from your deck to your graveyard, an Ogdoatic.
Every time you say that, the only thing I think of is Jamie Foxx and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
How you like the new.
Yeah. So Naua, whatever this is typically what you're sending off of Nunu. And so when this is normal or special summoned, you search a Ogdoatic spell or trap, and then this one you can pitch from hand similar to Nunu and send this from the grave. So it's a pseudo starter in a way. It can start filling your graveyard, which is really important for this strategy. The last Ogdoatic monster we play is Zohan. This is really important. So the only effect that matters on this is you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard to add this back from the graveyard. The combo I'm going to show you is a 1-card combo with Snake Rain to essentially get your plays going. Assuming you don't have another level 4 monster to summon out or get onto the field, you want to be able to send something so you can add something back and always have that normal summon to make your rank 4. And like I said, we'll get into that.
So when you play Zohan, I shouldn't mess with him?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't mess with the Zohan?
Exactly. So for the next engine we play, I play 3 of these because you want to see it. The combo kind of goes through this. If you open it, you can get a little greedy and search for other reptiles as part of the combo, which just makes it a little more explosive, but it's something you want to see. And sometimes, you know, you can still go full combo, so to speak, if you open a dark reptile in this, and you can just normal summon and special and go about your day. So really good card. Next, I play 2 Night Sword Serpent. This is a new card from Burst of Destiny, I believe. Excellent card. When it's sent to the field by a card, or sent to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon it. And so, like I said, we'll get into the combo, but you are dumping a ton of cards. You're milling a lot of cards. And so 2 of these is perfect. You're almost always sending one of these to grave. And if need be, you can send this off of Snake Rain and it special summons. And there's other ways to get this into the grave as well, so that its special summon is live. But 2 is perfect, 3 would be cloggy. I play 1 Supreme Sovereign Serpent of Golgonda. This is the Springen card essentially, but it's level 8 and it's a reptile, so that's really important for this deck. You can send this to the grave pretty easily because it's a reptile, and if you control a field spell, you can special summon it from your hand or your grave for free. So 1 is perfect. Any more than that gets cloggy, but as you'll see, we're playing the Lair of Darkness package in here because of all the tributing that this deck does. So, you know, you have a lot of ways to get to a field spell, meaning that this is live more often than not. And if you do happen to mill it, again, it's live. So, great card. Like I said, we play the Lair of Darkness package. So I play 2 Arima and 1 Diabolos. I play 2, we'll get to it now. I play 2 field spell, so essentially I'm playing 4 field spell. You know, this is a great card. I used to play this at more, but it's a little bit cloggy at more than 1. You don't really need to see it, and it can special summon from hand or graveyard. So, you know, you don't have to get too greedy. You see it enough. Arima is really cool because it's level 4. It can sometimes act as your normal summon, which you need a level 4 on board to do your combo. So, you know, if you open this and you don't want to go into Lair, you can just use it for your normal summon. And as you'll see, we're playing the Chaos Ruler, and so because they're dark, you know, if you need, you can add this to hand if you mill it. So really, really good. The last little engine I'm playing some tuners. I'm playing 2 Plague Spreader and a Destrudo. I don't actually play any level 7 synchros, so Destrudo ultimately is just a tuner extender to help you make Needle Fiber or Halcafibrax. But if you do mill this, it's perfect. So that's why it's in here. It's just, you know, you send so many cards to the graveyard that it comes up. Plague Spreader Zombie, you play a lot of level 8 monsters, so if you get Plague Spreader in the graveyard, you can summon it out and make your Barone to protect your combo. So it's really powerful. And I do like to play 2 because, again, I really want to see this, especially going second. If you can mill this, it just enables Hulk plays really easily, which ends the game. So yeah, 2 of those is perfect. And then finally, for the non-hand trap monsters, Fairy Tale Snow, it's excellent. It's, you know, this is a mill deck. You're dumping so many cards to grave. This is just free. Being a level 4 is kind of a bonus. You can do a lot of cool stuff with that, but this is super powerful and it's just a great card. The only true hand trap I play is Effect Veiler. Because I'm playing Lair of Darkness, going second, this deck is actually not that bad. Being able to dump stuff to the grave and tribute things off, it's a different kind of, it requires a different kind of interaction that a lot of decks just can't handle. And so 1 hand trap plus Lair of Darkness, which kind of forces interactions going second, is really good. And I played this specifically because it's not once per turn and it's light. So if I mill it off of Chaos Ruler, I can add it to hand. Now for the spells. So Snake Rain, this card is absolutely incredible. If reptiles were stronger and the cards were just simply better, this would not exist. This card is insane. It's discard 1 card and send 4 reptile monsters from your deck to the graveyard. That's nuts. Foolish Burial for 4, and the discard in this deck actually does come up because a lot of times you open cards that you want in the grave, right? The whole point of this deck is to have stuff in the grave. So yeah, this is just an incredible card. This is the 1 card combo that we'll get to at the end, but amazing, excellent card. So I play 3 Water Lily. This is a very cool card. It's a Foolish Burial for the archetype. actually for all reptiles, and then you can special summon a reptile in your graveyard if you have 5 or more with different names when it's activated. So that includes the send. So you send and then it checks if you have 5 you special summon. So I like to play 3 because it's just nice to see. Sometimes it's the missing piece you need in your grave. Otherwise it can be an extender. But you're always searching this as part of the combo. So if you do open it, I play 1 copy of Serpent Strike. So this is a really cool card. It says you can send a monster from your hand or field to the graveyard, then target a reptile monster in your graveyard with a different original attribute and special summon it. So it's just another extender, another monster reborn, which is really cool. Being able to send a card from my hand to activate this is important too, because again, if you brick or you open some of the, I shouldn't say brick, but if you open some of those big guys that you want in grave, you can get them into the grave with this. The other part is during the main phase, if a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, you can send a reptile monster from your deck to the graveyard, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So this is really cool because what happens is if you do anything and they hand trap you, say they Ash Blossom you, a monster is sent to your opponent's graveyard, and so this triggers and lets you send something else, which a lot of times might be the extender that they were ashing you with in the first place, or ashing you to stop you from getting in the first place. So it's really cool to have that interaction. It does come up, but you only really need 1 of this. Again, if you open this, you can get this, and sometimes you do want to search this over Water Lily. It just depends on your hand. So the last little engine I play to go with the Reptilian Codal is 3 Ramification. It sends a card from hand to the graveyard, and then you can either add a Reptilian monster or a Reptilian spell or trap, which is this one. So this is really good. Again, more discard outlets, really good. Reptilian Spawn is an amazing card. It's banish 1 Reptilian monster from your graveyard and special 2 tokens. So this is really, really good in a lot of cases. It lets you go second and just kind of establish some board presence and help link climb. So this is a really, really good card, but 1 is all you need. Almost always you are using this to search the Reptilian Codal because it's a level 4 special summon tuner. It's part of the combo. It's just really good to see. The other thing is, if you have 1 Reptilian, if you open with 1 and you open one of these, you can still search the other one. Normal 1, special the other, and then that essentially enables your combo because you get to your King of the Feral Imps, your rank 4. This searches your entire deck. And so, seeing multiples of the Reptilian Codal isn't bad, or, multiples of that and this or whatever. You make it work. So that rounds out the main deck. That's 40 cards. Let's jump into the extra deck. Of course, you got to have your 2 tokens for Lair of Darkness. Kind of cool. Italian. Gotta love it. So this is the main card, King of the Feral Imps. This is something that I almost want to play 2 of. It's not a once per turn, and it has come up, and so I'm thinking about what to cut. It's just I really like the extra deck right now. So if I can fit another one, I'm going to, because there's times where they imperm or Veiler this or something, and you want to be able to go into a second, and you can, and sometimes going into that second one is the difference. But this is an incredible card. It's 2 level 4 monsters, and once per turn you detach a material to add a reptile from deck to hand. It's that simple. It searches almost your entire deck, and so you can tuner out exactly what you need. For the rest of the XYZ monsters, I play 1 of the Zombie Vampire. This is part of the combo. It just mills cards and then special summons a monster that's sent, and that's 4 from yours and your opponent's deck, and so you're almost always hitting something off of this and specialing it, which is excellent. Number 38, again, a lot of rank 8 or level 8 monsters, so making this comes up pretty common. You make this a lot, really good to have. 1 Rika Strena and the Sacred Tree Beast, so this is super cool in this deck. I'm sure most of you, if you're familiar with the deck, you're familiar with this, but this is just a generic rank 4, and when it's tributed, it lets you summon this from deck and attach this as material. So this becomes, it's technically an Omni negate, but it's a negate for whatever's attached to it. So in this case, it's a monster negate. But, a lot of times you can get both of these on board with some other stuff, and, that's decent for, this is definitely a rogue deck. Like, this is not meta at all, and you can do some cool stuff and catch people by surprise, and this is part of it. 1 Zeus, if you have it, play it. It's excellent. You can make the XYZ monsters. So this is really good, and it does come up. Chaos Ruler, man, this has got to be one of the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, I think. Seriously, just that mill 5, being able to add 1 to hand, and then being able to bring itself back. This just does absolutely everything in this deck. It is so good. It is so powerful. It enables your combo, lets you kind of get greedy, dump a bunch of cards, and then bring it back because everything's light and dark, so you're always live. You can bring it back and make a rank 8 with it. And then when you do that and you detach it, it goes to grave and it doesn't banish, and you can just bring it back again next turn. So yeah, this has got to be one of my favorite cards in the game, and I absolutely love it. So the whole deck is kind of built around that. 1 Barone, as I said, I play Plague Spreader and a bunch of level 8s. So you can make this a lot. It's really, really good. And when they interrupt you, people don't necessarily see it coming. They interrupt you and you can still go into this, which is super powerful. So excellent card. Here, let me go back really quick. So this is absurdly expensive right now. I think it's Satellite Warrior, it's another level 10 synchro monster. So if you don't have this, because I do play Hauka Fibrax in here, you could maybe play Satellite Warrior and leave the monsters on board and then tag out Hauk and make Satellite Warrior. This is obviously better. This is I think better, but that's a really good, it's a really good route to go that is possible in this deck. So, like I said, Hauk, incredible. You play all the tuners, it's really easy to get out. And, that tuner, you play the reptile one is searchable, so it's really easy to make this. IP Masquerena, I'll just show Nightmare Unicorn now. So I play this. This is something that could be cut, but there's a few reasons why this is so powerful specifically. Right now, decks like Salamangreat or Code Talker, if you bounce their normal summon, they can't play, right? Like, it's just an auto win. And so if you know who you're playing against, you know what deck you're playing against, and you can go into this, it's free wins against some decks. And so because it's so powerful, I want to have it in here. The other thing that I want to point out, which if it isn't obvious by the rest of the extra deck, this deck doesn't lock you into anything. Our Ogdoatic level 4 Nunu, when it specials itself from grave, while it is face up on the field after special summoning itself by that effect, you cannot special anything but reptile monsters. When that's on the field, you're going into your rank 4, which is obviously a reptile Xyz. That's the only restriction of the deck. Nothing else restricts you in this deck. You're not locked into reptiles, you're not locked into darks or lights or anything like that. And so it's one of the great benefits of this. You have so much flexibility to play synchros, go down the synchro lines, go down the Xyz lines, go down the link lines. So having that flexibility is a huge benefit in what makes this deck both strong, in my opinion, and fun. And so this just fits that line. It's just a different type of interaction that in certain matchups, your opponent isn't ready for this, and it can take them by surprise and get you free wins. So I play that. Barricade Board Blocker. I find myself playing this in more decks now. It's just so slept on, and there's so many times, especially in this deck, where you want to get something out of your hand. There are a lot of discard outlets, but sometimes this is the difference maker. Being able to make this with just 2 random monsters, maybe after you get hand trapped, and then pitch something like Plague Spreader Zombie or another extender, and then just link climb all the way up to something like Access Code and end the game. This enables so much of that. So I would play this for sure. Yeah, I love it. Playing dark for obvious reasons right now. Most of my deck is dark or light. I'd like to fit the light charmer in here, but I haven't found room. And this comes up more right now, so really easy to make, really nice to have. I play Celine. This is a great card for this deck because you're milling so much. A lot of times you're going into this going second, at which point it's really easy to get 3 spells in grave. But again, you're playing Effect Veiler, so you make Hauk, you summon Effect Veiler, make this, bring it back, and then make Access Code. So I love this. It's just free in this deck and can really help you close out games. So that's it for the main deck and the extra deck. I'm not going to show you side deck because that's kind of, it should be personal. Yeah, it's a preference to what you like and the format that, or I should say the format that you're seeing at your locals. So play accordingly, but there are a few cards that I just want to mention here. Galaxy Cyclone. This is a very old card and is not seeing any play right now, but in a deck like this does have some value because you can banish it from grave to pop something, right? So it can be used on field, but in a deck like this where you're milling so many cards, this is really, really a kind of a cool tech. So just something to keep in mind. They're really cheap right now, so something you can consider. The other one is Token Collector. This is obvious right now against, Sword Soul, the Brave package, stuff like that. But because you're milling again, playing hand traps or just cards in general, right? Same idea. Playing cards that can do stuff when they're in the grave is just really strong. And so being able to play this is great. Again, like I said, Feral, or your whatever it's called, King of the Feral Imps, your rank 4 Xyz, you need a level 4 normal summon sometimes. And so this can do that. And then when it's in the grave, it's still live to disrupt your opponent. So this is just an excellent card in this deck and something that I would absolutely consider at least siding and, depending on your format and your locals, maybe play. You could even main a copy or two. So real quick, I will get into the combo. I know this video is kind of dragged on longer than it should, so I apologize for that, but I'll go through this super quick. Really, you need Snake Rain and some cards to discard. So 2 discard. If you have any level 4 you can normal summon, you don't need the second discard, and it just makes your combo more powerful. So you're going to activate your Snake Rain and obviously discard a card, and you're going to send 4 of your snakes to the grave. You're going to send Curse, you're going to send Nunu, you're going to send Neuya, whatever the heck that thing is called, and you're going to send your Zohan. And so this is the Zohan you're sending because in this case, you only have one other card in your hand, or I'm assuming you don't have a level 4 to normal or get on field. So those are the 4 you're sending. So when these are in grave, again, you control no monsters, so you can special summon this. Zohan, you can pitch the next card or the second card in your hand to add this to your hand, and then you normal summon it. And you're going to overlay those and make King of the Feral Imps. So you're going to detach one and add Reptilian Codal, which is a special summon. And so this is your hand right now. Now you're going to activate Curse Engrave, Tribute King of the Feral Imps to special this. When this is specialed, you can special summon one from grave. So you're going to special summon Neuya or whatever it's called. This effect will activate on summon and search, and you're going to search Ogdoatic Water Lily. So now this is your hand. You control a dark reptile monster, special summon Reptilian Codal. Now you have 2 level 4s, 1 tuner, 1 not tuner. So sync, this is going to get banished when it leaves the field. And this is where you make your Chaos Ruler. So Chaos Ruler is going to activate. I'm not going to go through the mills. Just because, it's kind of random to some extent, but I just want to show you how this works. Again, if this is your starting hands, you would still have 2 cards in hand, right? So hopefully you have some extenders, some other plays, stuff like that, which the deck is full of them, so it shouldn't be too hard. But you're going to use this effect. You're going to send 5. If you hit, Effect Veiler or Arima, you can search Lair of Darkness, stuff like that. But you're going to send your 5. A lot of times you're going to hit something that will be an extender, so do that if that's the case. And then you're going to overlay here into Zombie Vampire, and you're going to detach. It's important you detach Chaos Ruler. And then this will send 4 from your opponent's deck and your deck to the graveyard, and then special summon a monster. So between this and all those mills, the special summon off of this, you almost always have, I've played this deck for a while, done so many test hands, and almost never missed and ended with essentially just this on board. Like you always have something else, not to mention you still have this, so you can send and continue your plays with any of the Ogdoatic monsters. And so typically your end board, you usually will end with something like IP and a rank 8 of some sort, maybe a Barone, and sometimes this. So a lot of times it's going to be like this, and you're using this to link off, and then a lot of times because by then you have, 5 reptiles engraved, you can use Ogdoatic Water Lily, which you're sending, typically, you're gonna send the queen, and then tribute, a lot of times you're gonna have one random monster still off, still on board, and you special summon like that. So this is a normal board that you would see, or maybe one of the two. But again, for a rogue tier, rogue level deck, it's super fun. It can do some cool stuff. And like I said, it requires a different level of interaction from your opponent that a lot of people just aren't ready for and don't know how to play around. So they don't ash at the correct spots. They don't imperm at the correct spots because they just aren't familiar with the play style. This deck, never had its 15 minutes of fame, so to speak. So anyways, for those of you who hung around this long, I apologize. Thank you. We appreciate it. If you have any comments, drop them down below. Drop us a like if you enjoy the video, and stay tuned for more deck profiles coming up. Thanks so much.